It's another Friday and another fundamentals video. For today's video, I'm going to be going more into code. This time around, I'm going over the basics of what exactly a website is. I went over the code part of that last time, but that code still needs to be somewhere for you to access a website. When you're looking at an image or downloading something from a site, they have to come from somewhere. So, when you look at a site, you're really just accessing a folder. Folders just like you'd see on your desktop. When you go to a website in your browser, you might have noticed this before. The address bar will often show HTTP or HTTPS, a colon, 2 slashes, 3 W's, the site you're at, .com, and then another slash followed by other information, possibly including more words, more slashes, or word.html, ASP.php, etc. What you're looking at there is actually the folder and files of the website you're visiting. So let's go through that in order, shall we? Firstly, HTTP is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If it has an S on the end, it means it's a more secure version of this. Either way, this is the system built into the internet that actually lets browsers access the pages on a server. After that, anytime you see a slash in your URL, it means you're accessing a deeper part of the website's folder. So when you see HTTP :/www, your browser is sending out a request for information, and it's then connecting to the World Wide Web, which is where all the information on the internet is hosted and connected. Then comes the website's registered name, followed by .something. This can be something like google.com, or it can be .org, .net, .gov. There are plenty. This is the site folder you're actually interacting with. There will always be a slash after the .com, org, or whatever the site's registered under, putting you in what's called the root folder, where all the site's content is actually located and can be accessed. We finally then get into what you're actually seeing. When first visiting a site, there might not be anything after that slash. This is because when you first visit a site, every single website on the internet that works is using the same file name, which is index.php, HTML, whatever. This is the default file you open when visiting a site, so it's assumed it doesn't need to show up. No matter what though, any page on the site you visit from there will add more to the URL. This will be something.html, PHP, ASP, or another file extension. What this tells you is the file you're now accessing as a separate page inside of the site's folder. The first level of the folders, usually called public_HTML on hosting servers or root on your desktop, will be where your actual web page files exist. When building your website structure, you do definitely want to keep things organized, especially if it's a bigger site. There are a few standards that almost all sites have. These will include your IMG, or images, folder, where all the graphics you'll be using will reside. This folder can have even more folders for icons, graphics, thumbnails, you get the idea. From there, we also organize our code files. Some people just let things sit in the root folder, depending on how small the site is, but if it's bigger, it'll be a good idea to also have separate CSS and JS folders to contain those kinds of files. On top of these, if you're using custom web fonts that require an OTF or TTF file, or an icon font like Ion Icons, it might also be useful to have those in a separate fonts folder. Lastly, you might want to have a docs or downloads folder for anything your users can download, such as PDFs. This might all seem tedious, but it's a great thing to not need to hunt through a massive list of files later on in a project, which I assure you is much more tedious. Much like layers when working on graphic designs, it is a very good idea to keep all of your assets organized and easy to look through. On top of all of those, there should be another folder somewhere in or near your root folder for your creation files. I typically call this builders, and it's where you put the PSD, AE, graphics, and other files from your programs used to make the actual final graphics of the site's design. This isn't something you would upload with the rest when you're putting the site up on a server though, because it will make your site very slow to load and just take up unnecessary space. And that's about it for this subject. Boiling it all down, everything you see on the internet is just files inside of folders. Keeping this stuff in mind is great for avoiding chaos in your web design. As always, I hope you've all learned something and enjoyed yourself doing it. If you have any questions, thoughts, or other feedback, you can let me know with a comment down below. You can also like this video and share it around, which helps with Google's rankings. And I'm planning to be back here every Friday, so be sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Have a great day, everyone.